Okay, so I am super excited. This is actually my first episode as Ava, Tune In with Ava. Okay, so, oh God, I'm going to say it, Laurian, right?
Yes,
Okay,
Laurian, really well.
Laurian. Okay, so I have Laurian here. And I could say lots of things based on what I know, the little bit I know about him so far. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell us who you are, where you are, and what you're all about.
Oh,
Take it
wow.
away.
I'll take it away, Eva. So, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here on the first episode with Tune In with Eva. So, thank you for your invitation, just for holding space and just offering me the opportunity to answer some questions because I'm used to be the one putting the questions. So, it's nice to be also on this side of the energy field. Uh, as you said, my name is Laurian, and that definitely sounds like a name that's not used too often. I'm native Romanian. I'm born in the late 80s. I've chosen a set of parents that were in Romania going under the communist regime. I've had insights and downloads in my adult life, how I've chosen my parents, how I've chosen my timeline, how I've chosen the level of frequency I will have when I start life. Um, I've saw images how I've chosen my parents exactly for the suppressed trauma they had in their system, both my father and my mother. That being said, straight away, conception was under suppression. It was full on during the communist regime. So all I knew from my first spark catching form as an inner embryo was suppression, pain, terror. My mother will go at 5 a.m. with me pregnant, even before she knew she was pregnant. 5 a.m. to spend 4 hours in the cold, maybe to get a liter of water or of oil or bread. That's how life was when I was an embryo. This is the stories I know from my mother and from the collective consciousness in Romania. So imagine for a moment, before my mother even knows I'm there, I'm swimming in an ocean of scarcity, 3D suppression, conditioning, hunger to the bone. So life never felt safe. And my embryo absorbed that. My embryological matrix started being encoded with scarcity, lack of safety. And that was just the beginning. The moment my parents realized my mother is pregnant with me, their first idea was abortion. They already had 2 kids and they've already had 2 abortions before me. So a third one was not on the table for them. They loved me, they loved themselves and their kids, but under the communist regime, 3 kids just felt too much with no food to put on the table. So the decision was abortion. And that was the moment when my embryo started swimming into rejection and abandonment. I spent weeks feeling that my mother wants to abandon me and that I'm rejected by my creator, by life, by consciousness itself. And that followed me my entire life, even in healthy relationships, even in my 20s, being fired from a job or someone expressing healthy boundaries, I will feel waves and waves of abandonment and rejection. And I had no idea what was going on. For over 33 years, that was like an autopilot energy in my system. But yet here I am in front of your camera. I'm telling you a story. So the abortion clearly didn't happen. And this is where it gets even more interesting, more traumatic, and more with more blessings. I know from my mother that she started walking towards the clinic, and it was illegal to have an abortion under the communist regime. If they
Oh, it
will,
was. Oh, okay. I didn't
yes,
realize
yeah,
that. Oh, okay.
yeah. So she had two illegal abortions, and she knew that if they catch her, she would literally disappear. People will disappear from the streets, her friends will disappear, everybody will disappear, never to be seen again. And yet here she was for a third illegal abortion, done under the house of a doctor using these really caveman tools. My mother can't even put the words to those tools for the abortion.
So the fact
And
that she
as
even had two abortions before you and was still able to get pregnant is probably a miracle in
yeah,
itself.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It feels like I really wanted to come. I came once,
Mm.
they abort me. I came twice, they abort me the third time, and I am the third child. I was here to stay. And she's just across the clinic, about to cross the street, her turn to abort the baby. And in that moment, the secret police, the spies, they were called Securitate, they come in, they storm the building, and they arrest the doctor in front of her. And in that moment, she completely freezes. She prays to God to become invisible. She completely dissociates, shut down. She just wants to be invisible, not to be taken away. She can hear the police, she can see them rushing over her, and she just wishes she could die because she knows she will die if they see her, if they realize why she's there.
Mm.
Of course, she doesn't have this language. She doesn't know she dissociated. She was shutting down. She was freezing. She was running this autopilot nervous system responses. But it was deeply traumatic for her. And she just froze there. It started raining. She didn't have the courage to move for hours. She just stayed there in the rain, becoming invisible so they don't arrest her, thinking she will be next. They will grab her and she will disappear forever. In that moment, my tiny embryo started absorbing it all. My mother's heart was just going crazy, about to explode, she was saying to me. My embryonic heart literally exploded. In that moment, I absorbed so much energy, emotion, suppressed trauma that my literal biological heart shattered. And here I was, thanks to that day, I am alive. I'm telling you a story. So it feels like I'm gifted with a broken heart. The same reason why I'm alive today is the same moment I received my most powerful gestational embryological trauma. My actual heart shattered.
So it shattered your heart, and at the same time, it saved your life.
Yes,
Yeah. Wow.
yes. It's going to take me 33 years to see that, to feel that, to connect to that. So it was a proper journey.
Mm-hmm.
My mother finally went home. For the next 2 months, she was in full panic anxiety mode, afraid to exit the house because they might arrest her and she will disappear. She couldn't shake that traumatic event out of her system. So I just absorbed more of it. The months went on, and my father, he loved us, but he didn't love himself. So he had this repressed shadow, powerful traumas from his childhood, and he will project that upon the family, upon my mother, upon my brother and sister, and me as the embryo. And I know from my sister because I've asked her without telling her why, hey, how was life for you when you were 4? Because I knew that's when I was in the womb. And my sister started with, she was so proud. She doesn't realize how traumatic it was for her. She said, really proud, I was telling mom to divorce him and to run away. She was terrified to death to exist in that house. My father will come home drunk and abuse the family, verbally and physically, our mom, and just verbally, my brother and sister. But I was there present in the room. I've registered his voice. I was terrified to death at the field and energy of my father before I had a name and breath. I've spent the next months being terrorized by his energy, by his shadow projection, by his unhealed inner child.
Along
My
with the soup that you were swimming in of your mother's own chemistry, right? And all the
yes.
fear and everything that she was dealing with. Yeah.
So that was my gestational life.
Mhm.
And then finally the birth arrived. And of course, as you pointed out, it's a miracle my body even developed. So much energy, so much cortisol, physical, physiological, biological, energetic would have shattered that body. I would have been a baby born prematurely or just completely dead. For reason unknown to medicine, I was born. I went full term. But when I came out more dead than alive. My heart was literally shattered. I was not breathing, my heart was not pumping with life, no coherence, no love in it. I was blue, I was not breathing. I know all of this because I've asked my mother in my adult life. And she said, that's a miracle when everybody thought I'm just going to die by the end of the night or the day because they had no idea what to do to me. It just looked like I was again 99% dead and alive. No surgery, nothing would have helped me. And they didn't have the knowledge, the self-awareness around what was going on. And for some unknown reason, something in my mother shifted. She felt consciousness awaking within her. So she started screaming in a really powerful way at the doctors, at the nurses, so she can hug me at least, say goodbye to me. She had no idea she was doing. Luckily, she was coming from a line of witches, of healers, something she repressed within her. But her mother, her grandmother, were the local shaman of the village for that period in space. So she started channeling that. People in the room just froze. And for some other reason, one young nurse, she said, she took me and she offered me to her. And again, I was just more dead than alive, blue, not breathing, not anything. And my mother started praying, started pouring liquid love into me, pouring energy into me. She was channeling whatever her ancestors have been doing for thousands of years. And she only can remember that my color suddenly changed. My heart started beating and I started breathing. And that was my first energy healing session. And
Not
nobody had
many
no
people
idea
can
what is
say
happening.
that. Not many people can say that, Laurian. That your first moments on this planet were receiving such a profound healing and that it was coming from your own mother. That is just so beautiful. My God, so
Yes,
beautiful.
it is. Thank you, Eva.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.
And yeah, she resuscitated me back to life with her love, with her energy. And then life started for me. I was clearly born dysregulated and so many suppressed traumas and energies in my system. And they will follow me my entire life without me having any idea why. Of course, my entire childhood, I never felt okay or safe in my own body. Our alcoholic, abusive father continued his verbal abuse. Our mother continued her unhealthy attachments and suppressed anxieties and her own suppressed traumas, mirroring my father in his trauma. As a couple, they were like, what will people call in present moment today a narcissist and an empath? That's how they
Yes,
looked. If you look through that lens,
sure.
my father is someone who, in just in my perspective, because I don't like those labels. I just think you have a spectrum. Some people at this spectrum tend to identify more with their authentic self, with the self-awareness of the present moment. And on the other spectrum, that being is going to identify with his imaginary 3D character. And they turn up with these narcissistic traits because they
I'm
don't
like
see them
I'm
as
like you.
divine.
I don't prefer the labels at all. I think that we actually really, I mean, by using those labels, we actually limit people in their abilities to break through those labels, because then our perceptions of them are so limited that they can never get beyond it,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
I think that it's actually unhealthy for us to be labeling people in that way. But as far as a frame of reference, I get
Yeah.
why people would use that language. But let's face it, hurt people,
Yes.
right? Until they do the work to make the change and the whole
Yeah.
thing. But your father was obviously very much a hurting individual, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And exactly how you said, that's how I see him. I don't put that label on him because I don't want my consciousness to project that onto him. He's
Yeah.
just a person that was deeply traumatized and he's not in touch with his essence, with his I am nature. And I see that now. But that was their relationship for us growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was deeply traumatizing. They have glimpses when he will come home full of rage and alcoholic. And again, his voice, his energy was telling my nervous system, this is a life and death situation. But I was already programmed for that. Even when he was loving and friendly, hugging me, loving me as a father, my nervous system said death, danger. So I've been programmed and shaped and conditioned. Even now, when I love him in the present moment with my whole self love and self awareness, I hug him. There's an echo and a residue within me that feels danger, that feels death in front of one of the people I love most. So it's complex beyond imagination. And luckily, I started playing football. I ended up in a football academy. And I'm saying all of this because in the football academy, we'll have twice a year a medical check. And always my heart was just wired differently. They will give me an extra day, put me to sign papers. Look, you're not supposed to play professional football because your heart just doesn't sound right. And they will give me like extra tests and go to different doctors. And of course, nobody found ever nothing. That kind of gestational energy trauma doesn't show in any 3D medical system. And yet I went to everybody for years in my childhood thinking there's something deeply wrong and I'm not good enough. And so many confusing energies, having a heart that just doesn't beat like everyone else. And fast forward to my 18th birthday, I was a master suppressor. I was the biggest people pleaser. My entire childhood, I was the bully and I was bullied. But my memories are with me just being straight away a bully. I was having so much pain in my system since I was 5 or 6 or 8 or 10. The only thing that gave me the illusion of control and safety was to bully other kids. And that was my initial program because I was programmed and conditioned like that. Took me
Well,
20 years to heal
self-protection,
and
right?
integrate. Yes,
Self-protection. I
self-protection,
mean, yeah,
self-mechanism. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Took me 20 years to heal and integrate the abuser within me and the one who got abused. And then at 18, my heart couldn't take it anymore. And whatever I was suppressing in my heart, my body started expressing, and my left knee exploded. Like it literally exploded. Ligaments, meniscus, everything. And again, such a big, powerful moment, painful, took me from my dream of becoming a professional football player, like my broken heart, ended up being the biggest blessing. Because I've chosen this path. I've chosen to be a wounded healer. I've chosen to absorb some of my pain and energy so I can transmute and heal that within me through my journey. So that surgery meant I couldn't walk for 6 months. 6 months where I dreamed about just suicide. Was my ultimate solution. I was in too much emotional pain, too much physical pain, dreams shattered, suicidal emotions and movies were my only solution. And then another 6 months to learn how to walk and run. And that's when the physiotherapist said, why don't you become a physiotherapist? And in that one question, my entire life changed forever. When she said that question, why don't you become a physiotherapist? My whole consciousness shifted and expanded, and I saw a lifetime of healing myself and supporting others in their healing journey.
Mhm.
So I
So
was
often we do
blessed.
that, right? So often those
Yeah.
of us who have experienced the traumas and in our childhood and our upbringing, we tend to lean more towards those healing professions because we want to help other people, of course, but we know that it's coming from a place of needing to heal ourselves, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So well said. It took me 30 years to realize it was within me what I was looking to heal. When I became a physiotherapist, I was still projecting my pain and my energy onto my reality, onto my world. I wanted to save people, to save the world, and completely ignore my pain and my trauma. So here I was in my 20s studying physiotherapy. And now, after the first year of physiotherapy, I got an internship for the summertime to assist a doctor. And again, a question who changed my life forever. He said, would you like to give 20, 30 minutes massage sessions to my clients? And at that moment in space, I hated massage therapy. I hated the concept, the idea of touching people, yet I never did that before. But the concept just didn't sit right with my conditioned consciousness. And yet it resonated on much deeper levels, and I said yes. And that day, I saw three clients, shoulder, lower back, and a knee, who I just did, besides the physiotherapy, I did like 20, 30 minutes of massage. And the most magical thing happened ever. The moment I touched the person, an invisible energy started moving my hands. It freaked me out. An invisible force knew where to press, how to press, like I've done this 1,000,000,000 times across eons and dimensions. But I was terrified. I had no courage to share that with anyone. I thought I'm going crazy, and I thought people will think I'm going crazy. And I started doing massage sessions, and something within me was, once the session started, there was no me there. I was resisting it in such a powerful way. I would sweat resisting my authentic self doing a massage session. My hands would move like I've been doing this since forever. They knew how to press, where to press. They will shift energy without even telling me I'm shifting energy in the body. And I started welcoming as a gift. I was like, okay, this is a gift from life, from the universe. I didn't believe in God, in anything. I was a 3D character, full on. But I felt this is a gift. And I started nurturing that. And because life is so magical and miraculous, the same week, out of nowhere, a sports massage level 3 degree opened up in the clinic where I was having the internship. And they offered me a space there for free. They invited me. The universe doing its beautiful architecture. But I hadn't
Yeah.
had eyes to see that. I just felt like it's luck. So I did my level 3 degree in sports massage. Then I went my second year at physiotherapy, where we learned even more massage out of nowhere. And then I discovered something called Yumeiho therapy. I was curious more about the human body. I discovered there was a great university teaching osteopathy in Romania, but it was on the other side of the country. And then out of nowhere in my reality, someone brought Yumeiho therapy, which is something really similar, but it's done on the floor. You have a kimono on top, but it's all about readjusting the pelvis and working with all the soft tissues from the skin to the bone. And it completely blew me away, Emma. It took my massage skills to a completely different level.
Mhm.
And then I finished my third year at university, and that's when I decided I would love to leave Romania. It was too painful for me, too traumatic to stay there. And I was still, again, stuck in that 3D character, imaginary brain reality. And I was thinking, okay, if I move to Sydney, I'm not going to feel as traumatic. I've chosen the farthest place on the planet because I thought being far away from my trauma, from my dad, I'm going to leave it there, not in my heart. That was me in my 20s. And I realized I can't go to Sydney. Logistics, my Romanian passport was not that easy to get a visa, but that was my dream to move to Sydney so my trauma can stay in Romania, so I don't have to deal with it. So I got an internship in Cyprus. I ended up falling in love with the island of Cyprus. I stayed there for over a year or something, and that's where I discovered for the first time yoga and Reiki. But I was still a 3D character, and it just went for 1 year and exit the other one. I didn't hear nothing what they were saying. I spent a year in a yoga retreat working as a massage therapist and physiotherapist. I would go to yoga, but I had no actual connection to my body. Why am I there in the present moment? I would speak with experienced therapists who were doing Reiki for 10, 20 years. They were telling me great things about consciousness and energy and looking to reawaken something within me or for me to remember my true nature, but nothing happened.
You weren't
I was,
embodying it,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
zero, not even absorbing a word. I was
Mm.
like, what are these crazy people talking to me? I was so much under the fog of trauma and 3D conditioning and programming that it just felt awkward. I just didn't even, I kind of hated it. And luckily, again, the universe, in its magical brilliance, sends me a couple who says, hey, why don't you come to London? Stay with us for a month. See if you like London. You can stay in London for a year, and from London, you can go to Sydney. No idea where that question came from, but it landed in a really deep place in my heart. So I said yes to life and I moved to London. I stayed with that beautiful couple for a month. Then I got a place with one of my best friends from my childhood who was also in London. And that's how my journey in London started. I ended up spending 10 years, a decade in London, studying and working, studying and working. And the first winter, I made my first money and I went to Sydney, Australia to fulfill my dream. And I was there at the Sydney Opera House. I made it. I'm healed. Trauma is not in me anymore. It's outside of me back in Romania. It hit me like a week later. It was not there. I started drinking a lot. I was eating a lot to regulate my nervous system. I had no idea what I was doing. And then the depression hit me, the anxiety hit me like, why do I feel so much pain when I'm in Sydney, Australia, on the other side of the planet?
Well, it's interesting because I know that I've been through the same thing where you think if I just go somewhere else, if I just get away from where the cause of that pain was or where the root of that pain was, that location, if I change locations, then I will be free of it. But we have this saying in NLP, we call it everywhere you go, there you are,
Yes.
right? And it's and it does work temporarily. There can be a great,
Yeah.
temporary release of or freedom from that pain, but like you said, then it's boom, it hits you and it's like,
Oh,
the heck.
yes. it hit even harder because I had a few, like a week of being joyful, having fun, but I was just suppressing it, keeping it really deep down. And when it came to the surface, I ended up having 3 days of just eating and drinking and doing nothing, just lazy in the fog of the suppressed emotions. We would call that depression and like anxiety, like anything but the present moment.
Well,
And it
trying to numb
followed me
it,
there.
trying to
Yeah.
numb it, right? Yeah.
But something magical happened again. Going
Of
all
course it did. You have a magical life. How could it not be
exactly
magical?
going all the way to Sydney, I kind of felt in love with a healthier addiction, which was traveling. It felt good to travel. So the next year, I went again east. By this time, I went to Bali. I went to Singapore and then I went to Bali. The whole year in London, all I did was eat and drink and fall into my depression. I became a powerful addictive behaviors to regulate my nervous system. Food and drinking was first. I've gained over 30 kilograms. MDMA will help me over the weekends because I will listen to music and put MDMA in my system. And that will regulate even more my nervous system. I had no idea that was doing, but it felt nice to take drugs and dance.
But
So
was it just a temporary fix? I'm just curious because I'm very interested in the whole idea of using uh, psychogenic drugs.
yeah,
Is that the right way of saying it? But so was it just a temporary feeling though? It wasn't didn't have a lasting effect for you?
no,
Okay.
no. I was over 6 years, 8 years
Mm,
of, I just took a unhealthier addictive behavior, which was food and
yeah.
alcohol, and shifted it with MDMA.
Okay. Yeah.
It offers relief in the present moment.
Sure.
It did open, for the first time in my life, I will talk to strangers about some of my aches. So it did open something within me, really small bits, but it
Mm-hmm.
didn't do any lasting effect. For 6 years, these were my addictive behaviors. And that's all I knew was to numb the dysregulation, the pain, and the trauma without realizing I'm so deeply traumatized and conditioned.
You know what I find is I mean, I can only speak to my experience, but here in Canada, cannabis is legal. And I find that cannabis is used a lot in the same way,
Yeah,
right? It's used, people think that they're just, oh, no, just, just taking a toke, just getting high. It's fun, whatever, just relaxing. But they aren't realizing, and I see it all the time, but they aren't realizing that, there's something inside them that wants to numb, right? That
yeah,
wants to, they want to shut off. And, probably most people would argue with me on that, but it's like, it's pretty apparent, right? It's
yeah,
pretty apparent when you're aware of these kinds of things. But
yeah.
yeah,
And that's why it feels nice because you smoke it and it regulates the nervous system. It offers space and quiet in the
yeah,
system.
yeah,
Yes, it's a healthier way of coping with trauma than food and alcohol,
sure.
but it's still an addictive behavior and bypassing the actual trauma and pain.
Yeah. It's not solving the problem, in other words.
No, it doesn't even touch the actual energy
Right.
dysregulation trauma. It just offers relief.
Yeah.
And it's great that you brought that up because when I went to Bali the second year, that's when I discovered another, I'm going to call it plant medicine because it grows in in the ground from nature and it heals the soul when done in a professional setting. But I went to Bali. I From Bali I went to the Gili Islands, and I've only heard in my entire life of mushrooms twice. And my education was that if you take them, you jump out the window, or if you take them, you go crazy, and probably
Yeah,
you
they
jump in
definitely did a
front of the
good
car.
job with the propaganda, didn't they? They did a
Yeah,
great job with the propaganda, making people fear those things.
yeah. Those are the two only informations I had around mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, when I went to Bali, I was 36 kilos above my natural weight. My left knee, where I had the surgery, was exploding with pain, although there was nothing there to actually physically cause the pain. And I was an alcoholic, a drug addict, a foodaholic, a shopaholic, a travelaholic, anything to regulate my nervous system. But my physical body will show that those are not healthy habits. I felt the most awful in my entire life. In that plane ride to Bali, for the first time, I found myself praying to all the gods I heard in my entire life, praying to the universe, praying to emptiness, to nothingness, to just to offer me an opportunity to shift this, because I spent a whole year visualizing suicide. And now I know that was a solution for me, because it was the only solution my imagination could find. Jump out the window and pain will be over. But it didn't feel like a solution that year. And luckily, I arrived in the Gili Islands and I met a guy there. He was an architect from Portugal, traveling around Southeast Asia. And then we woke up the next morning, and this is my first encounter. This is my first meeting with Source, with the embodiment of the present moment, with God, with frequency. You can give it whatever name works for your consciousness.
Well, the first time you were aware of it.
Yes,
right?
That's the first time when I was aware of it, because he's always present in the present moment.
Right.
And that morning, Marco, the guy, was not there anymore. Like his eyes changed, his energy completely shifted, his tone, voice changed. He was talking completely different. I was scared and terrified to death. It felt like I'm in front of a god or of a being from another dimension. And I was completely sober. It was morning. We were having coffee. And Marco transformed in what we call as God. And it completely terrified me. But yet I was intrigued. I leaned over and he started explaining about mushrooms. He was so experienced on it. But again, he was talking like Source itself. And he told me just a little bit and he explained to me the dosage and everything. And he convinced me. And I said yes to the smallest, like 1 or 2 equivalent of dry
So you're
grams of
talking about
shrooms.
microdosing psilocybin.
Yes,
Right.
microdosing psilocybin.
Yeah. Okay.
A bit more than microdosing is, he said it's going to be a gram something.
Yep.
And I said yes to
I've
that.
done that. I've done that. I get
Yeah.
it.
And I said yes to that. It was in a shake with pineapple. We had it. But then half of the day went and I didn't saw anything. I felt good. I felt present. I felt connected to my body for the first time in a lifetime in this body. And then I said to him, I want more. So he said, okay, he explained to me that it's already in my system. Let's double, triple the dose. So he said he's going to put the equivalent of 4 to 5 grams. And he explained it's going to be a completely different experience. But I felt I'm in the presence on something so much more than Marco. I didn't have a name for it or to put my finger on it. It just felt mystical, beyond words and language. So I took the second shake right before sunset. And then we stayed under a tree by the fire. And then out of nowhere, nature started to communicate with me. My conditioned boundaries of being a separate entity from the universe, from existence, started dissolving. I had no idea that was happening, but nature started communicating with me. The tree was somehow talking to me, so I went closer to the tree. We had a bit of a dialogue, monologue. It felt fun. I had no idea what I'm doing. The waves started sounding differently, like they were talking to me. The stars were winking at me. I dipped for the first time in this body my finger into oneness, into one with everything around me. And I felt in love with that. I was addicted to how powerful and healthy I felt being at one with myself and my surrounding environment. So I went to Marco and I said to him, look, I feel super great. No idea when I'm going to have the chance to do this again. Let's triple the dose. Like just give me the most you can, just don't kill me. And he went to the place where you could get them. He just brought a lot of them. He doubled, tripled the shake, and I had the first shake.
Okay,
And
you need to unpack that for me. So how many hours are we talking here that you ended up taking all
yeah,
that?
so the first shake was just about like brunch. Let's put the time, moment in space, like
Mm-hmm,
11, 12 a.m.
mm-hmm,
Second shake was before sunset. Let's call it 7 p.m.
mm-hmm.
Third shake was probably 11 to midnight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And the beauty was the second shake was not even at its peak. It was just coming up. And then I had the first shake. I didn't have the power to finish it all. Maybe I took 80% of it. It was just pure mushrooms at this point. And then it became so powerful. I just lied down on a sunbed, looking at the sky. The sky was just purple. And suddenly a circle of light opened in the sky and a head of an elephant came to talk to me. I've never in my entire life to that moment seen a picture of Ganesha. I had zero idea that is what that is. Out of nowhere in my sky, an elephant human head came to talk to me. And I started feeling my body healing itself, like allowing my body to heal itself. I could feel things within me rewiring, reconditioning, it felt like I'm a computer and you just put me in a washing machine, you restart the computer, and there were no more tabs, no more programs, no more app installed. And I fell asleep in that powerful emotion. I
Okay,
woke
so
up,
let's back up. Let's back up because
yeah,
you say that an elephant head came and talked to you. What did the elephant head tell you?
I'm still not able to put that into words.
Oh, okay. So it
The
was more of a
communication,
transfer
yeah,
of okay, okay.
an energy transmission. I could
Yeah.
hear him talking in a different language that I've never heard,
Mm,
yet I was understanding each word
at a
and
whole other
absorbing.
level. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And even years later, I still don't have the words to put the
The words are
experience.
not required.
Yes, it's an experience. It's beyond words and language. Even now, I get goosebumps from that moment. And I fell asleep. I woke up at sunrise, still with a mushroom in my system. I just felt really grateful. I felt clean. I felt empty, spacious. I went to the hostel. I slept. I woke up that evening, and that's when I felt like my whole computer was just empty. Like I felt programless. I felt like I was born that day.
Wow.
And that's when my for in my language, in my perspective, that's when my awakening started. That's when I started remembering bit by bit that I am this energy of the present moment beyond words and language.
Mhm.
And that evening I woke up, I felt completely different. And moving forward, I stopped drinking, I started eating with intention, but it became natural, it became easy. My nervous system had like 2, 3 months of not feeling dysregulation. I went back to London, I started working out, eating with intention. I started studying for the first time in my life. I was hooked by consciousness, by expansion. I had no idea what I was reading, but I was reading it. And then I developed, and I will come to this, a healthier addiction, which was using mushrooms to expand my consciousness, but also to downregulate my nervous system. Once a month, I would be at home in my room, put something to cover my eyes. I would take 5 grams of mushrooms to explore my inside and my consciousness, which was healing and powerful, but I was bypassing. I was not doing any inner work. I just used the shrooms as people use the weed to decompress my system. But I zero touched the trauma or the programming or the conditioning. And I did that for 2, 3, 40 years. maybe 3 years, where psychedelics became something of an exploration, but bypassing my pain, my trauma. But it did open my consciousness, it expanded my consciousness. I started reading more about energy healing. I enrolled in London to get a 5 degree, the highest degree you could get in London in soft tissue therapy. And I've learned about the vagus nerve. It was really powerful. 2 years learning to work with soft tissue, with energy, and stimulating the vagus nerve for the belly, for the neck, for the face. And it opened a new door for me to somatic therapy, to somatic experiencing. So I started working with professionals more and more. But yet I was not, I didn't feel like I was healing too much. I was discovering my inner child. I was healing a little bit my nervous system, but I was still so deeply conditioned and programmed that still psychedelics felt like my number one solution. The next 2 years, I will travel west. I went to Mexico in searching for shamans and energy healers. I will eat shrooms and get energy healing from shamans and learn from them. I stayed with them for a week or two, and then I will move to the next village or mountain in Mexico to learn from them. That's when
Mhm.
I started shifting my consciousness. And then I went back to London again, studying, working, and then I went again west. I went to Brazil again, shamans, energy work, and then Bolivia, and then Peru. So I
Mhm.
started, my trips became full on, let's heal, let's integrate. Although I had no idea what I was healing and integrating, I was still blind to existence, to life, to my true essence.
So I'm just curious, between all of these trips that you were taking, were you putting your healing on hold and waiting until you went on these trips?
Yes.
Okay.
Coming back to
Okay.
London meant I was studying, I was working as a brilliant massage therapist, soft tissue therapist, physiotherapist,
Mhm.
but the weekend will come. I will go in a friendly environment. My nervous system will not feel safe. I would eat and drink just so I can feel safe. It felt like my nervous system was pressing the pedal to the floor. Let's fight or run away, but also the brakes simultaneously freeze and shut down.
Yeah.
So it was awful. It was a nightmare. That's not a life a consciousness in a human body wants to experience. I'm never safe. I'm never okay in the present moment. My whole body it feels like it's against me. It's communicating with me, but at that point in space, I don't have the consciousness, the heart, the ears to listen to it. So,
I just want you to know that I totally relate to what you're talking about.
yeah,
I spent so many years in that state. And it's just, my God, though, to get to the other side of it.
magic.
That's true freedom right there. Like, you're traveling all over the world to find that freedom. And
Yeah,
realistically, it's not until you actually feel, right, it from inside that
yeah,
that's when you go, oh my God, this is what I've been searching for my whole life. Right. And I know you're getting
yes,
to that. You're getting to
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
keep going.
Yeah, yeah. I've done South America. I arrived in Peru right before the famous COVID lockdown.
Mm.
So I spent half of my COVID lockdown in a village, in a cabin in Peru, in the Colca Canyon, just meditating, adopting two dogs, and eating avocados and alpaca cheese for months. It
Now
was
that sounds
really,
like paradise to me.
yes, for the people who are stuck in big cities, my friends back home in London, I would exit the village, put a hammock between two trees, and that's where I found my first dog. Out of nowhere, in the middle of nowhere, at the edge of the canyon, a dog just jumped, into my hammock.
Wow.
So since then, we became brothers. And I spent 4 months in that village, and then I came back to Europe to enjoy 1 year of lockdown in London. And funny enough, I thought I understood life, or I've read about consciousness, I've read about the present moment. I had a few intellectual concepts about everything, and yet life is about to completely turn my world upside down. At the end of the lockdown, the universe in its magic invites me to a camping trip. I go to a camping trip, and two random people there say to me, "Hey, look, you would love to meet my friend Monica. She kind of speaks like you. She has your same energy." In the morning, that was a guy. And then in the same evening, a girl says, "Hey, I think you would love to meet my friend Monica." And at that moment, I was able to start listening to the universe. So I said, "Yes, I would love to meet her," having no idea what's going on. A week later, I come back to London. They say the same thing to Monica, these two friends, Michael and Lisa. And finally, I meet Monica in London. It was May, end of lockdown, beautiful outside. And the moment when she enters in my reality and we shake hands, she says, "Hi, I'm Monica." Instantly, my coccyx starts vibrating. It goes up my spine, vertebra with vertebra with vertebra, and then it reaches up here in the head and it explodes. Like my hair goes up like electricity. I've never experienced anything like it in my entire life. I had no idea what was going on. I had zero concept of Kundalini rising, and I was still that 3D character. And shaking hands with her, that character started melting and disappearing. She awakened my I am essence. She awakened instantly in that moment my natural nature of being love in the present moment. My hair went up into the air. Reality changed, Eva. Like my eyes, five filters went off. Colors were vibrant. The loud music around me became a symphony. My heart was beating for the first time in my life. My heart was beating in the coherence of the present moment. I instantly knew this is the most important person I'm going to meet in my entire life. I have no idea what that means, but every cell in my body is vibrating like this. This is the most important person in my life. And I instantly understood what I've seen in movies my entire life. When you know, you know.
When
There's
you
no
know, you
question
know.
about it. When you
Yeah.
know, you know. When you
Yeah.
meet your one, your twin flame, your soulmate,
Mhm.
the one that's one with you on so many levels, there's no
Yeah.
more questioning. There's no more, that doesn't exist. Everything melts away, shuts down, disappears. She's the most important person in my entire life. And I'm grateful for her because she's my wife today.
Oh my God.
And we have
Wow.
two beautiful kids, and
And so
I'm in
that
paradise thanks
happened
to her.
quickly too then.
Yes,
Yes.
I've met
I mean the
her.
experience obviously, but you must
Yes,
have, did you like to, okay, continue because I want to hear this
yeah,
love story.
yeah, yeah. We met that evening. We ended up, none of us wanted to go home because we felt at home in our body in the present moment like never before. We ended up spending, everybody went home. We went to a friend's couch just so we can be together. And then we wanted a space for us. It was like midnight. We exited the house. We walked towards St. Paul. And then I joked to her, like, "God, give me a sign." And then the bell at St. Paul in London starts banging, like, boom, marry her, marry her. And then we spent the whole night just walking around London. The weather for the first time was pleasant on my skin in London. Air smelled like love, and we just walked all night around London because we didn't want it to separate. I was in a relationship with someone. I was living with a different woman. She had her own life, but we didn't want it to separate at all. So we walked almost until sunrise. And then we went back to the friend's house and we hugged. We declared eternal love that night, had no idea what was going on, and we hugged, and then she went her way. But nothing could stop that. We just met 3 days later, 2 days later, 3 days later. And it took me, which feels like an eternity, it took me 9 days to propose to her. Like I knew instantly, but it took me 9 days to propose to her, which feels crazy. I was to propose to her that moment on the bridge when I
You
met her.
you see you this is hilarious actually. You think that 9 days was too long from the time you met
Yes,
someone to propose to
yes,
them?
it felt crazy. It felt agony. I wanted to propose to her the moment I breathed her oxygen. But that 3D character, the conditioning, the programming was still there, putting, I don't know, self-doubt and projecting images. Nothing was real. Only
And you
she
were
was
living with
real.
someone else.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Everything just melted away. So
Yeah, I
nine
bet.
days later, I proposed to her and I moved into her property. I offered the space to that person. I went there authentically, said everything what my
Mhm.
heart felt. I helped her with the rent. I just made sure she's in a safe environment and I was fully authentic and compassionate with her. And I went to live with Monica. And since that moment onwards, we have never been apart one day. And it's been 5, 6 years now. That's how
That's
powerful it felt meeting her.
wow. Wow.
She was my catalyst to awaken and remember. That summer, I was blessed with 1, 2, 3 moments when I got to experience what Marco got to experience that day in the Gili Islands. That God frequency, that source fully awakened within me. I spent a few weeks in at some point in 1 month, and then a few other weeks, and then a few other weeks in full God frequency. I got to be for a few weeks what Marco was for me that day.
Yeah.
I would walk with my wife Monica. We felt like one, like there's no language for it. We will just walk as one consciousness through London, and reality will bend in a beautiful way to our will and our heart space. There was no me, Laurian there. There was no Monica. It was just this pure, unconditional love and consciousness. And we got to experience that for a few weeks. And it was beautiful because for a week or two, I will kind of have that God frequency within me, and I will hold space for Monica to integrate her conditioning, to heal and love her programming. And then the God frequency will shift in her body and she would feel this majestic being, and I will have the opportunity to heal and integrate the remaining echoes and residue of my trauma, my conditioning, my programming.
See,
So
I love that. I love that for lots of reasons. But I mean, I get it because my husband and I went through a similar experience. Okay, we were met and matched very quickly. We were sorry, matched and married. Is my whole thing is we were matched and married in less than 4 months. But we were matched on eHarmony. Okay, so we're talking early adopters of eHarmony 18 and a half years ago. Um, but I don't want to get into my story because this is about you, but I just want to say that there were many people in our lives at the time that did not understand how we could so quickly just know. We just knew, right? So when the first time I met him was when I picked him up at the airport to meet him after 6 weeks of communicating over email and the phone. And he asked me to marry him. That was the first words out of his mouth. Marry me, baby. Right. And of course, my response was yes. But it's exactly what you're talking about. When you know that there is something, this is not a sexual thing. This is not just a romantic thing. This is beyond comprehension, right? And when you feel something like that, your whole soul just screams, yes, you have to do this. This isn't even about it's like it's almost like you didn't even have a choice to do it. It's like
wow.
everything about everything is saying you must. This
Yes.
is what you have been. It's almost like this is what you've been put on this planet for, right?
I'm getting goosebumps all over.
Really
Yes.
though, and it
Yes.
sounds to me like you and Monica did exactly what Kevin and I did 18 and a half years ago, which is that we committed to growing together. We
Yes.
committed to our healing, we committed to our growing and expanding, and and that there's just something about that that is just so beyond, like I said, that romantic sexual love energy. It goes even beyond all of that. And it's amazing. You guys are still in the first few years of it, and I promise you it will take you all the way through all the hardships, everything, because when you are committed in that way to be there for one another no matter what, right? It ugh, I can't even explain it. I still can't. 18 and a half years later, I can't explain
Yes.
it. I just know
Yes.
I just feel it and I know it.
Yes.
So I get it. I get what you're going through. I totally get it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is a beautiful thing. And thank you for saying that because it happened the same with us. None of my friends, none of her friends, none of
Mm.
her family, none of my family, nobody in our reality and universe could even comprehend to 1% what me and Monica are living, experiencing, and the level of love and consciousness that was continuously expanding between us. All my friends, it was impossible for them to even comprehend like this much of what I was saying to them. My family, the same. But that was the beauty. Nothing in me was hearing them. I was just hearing little children that have no idea what they're talking about. I felt compassion for them because they haven't met love like that in their life.
Yes. And
And I'm really grateful.
I do have to ask you to, like, it's been a few years now for you. Is it, do they, are there people in your life that still can't accept it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say 60 to 80% already have
Mm-hmm.
been with us for a week, for a holiday with us. So they've seen how it feels to be in our presence, how we are with each other. I would say there are still that 30 to 20% of people in our reality who just can't see, can't hear, can't feel, and they still ask things like just like really childish condition 3D programming questions that I don't even answer anymore. Silence
Yeah.
is my answer to that because
Mm.
we're just in a different dimension and this is where
They
we are
just
right now.
can't comprehend it. They just can't
No,
comprehend it. And
no,
what we have found too is that there were a lot of people, we did lose a lot of lose, right?
yeah,
A lot of people in our lives because of the way that we, the way that everything happened with us. But now looking back, you understand that it's okay. Reason, season, or lifetime. People that are in your life are not necessarily meant to be there forever.
yes,
Everybody plays different roles, right? And they're there for different stages of your own development and their own development. And I just feel like the people that just kind of fell away were those people that just weren't ready for what we were going through and where we were headed. We were going on different paths, and that's okay, right? That's really okay.
yes.
Yeah.
And
And when
again,
you're
thank you for
okay in
saying
yourself,
that.
when you're okay in yourself, you're okay with accepting that it's okay
Yes,
for other people,
yeah, it
right?
just feels natural and organic. I would say
Yeah.
we've changed again 70% of our friend circle, and it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to feel people who are in our frequency and people who
Mm-hmm.
are not, and that's okay. People have that unique journey. We have our unique journey, and
Mm-hmm.
we're okay and have accepted that.
Mm-hmm. So what's happened since?
Well, even crazier things, because as I said, in those moments when the God frequency will embody us, there were also moments when it will squeeze the programming out of us. One of my more powerful days was we were just having a chill picnic, me and Monica. Out of nowhere, that presence, God, source, I don't have words for it because whatever happened to me is beyond words and language. It took over my entire being, and I started seeing over what is it, 14 billion years of information. I was downloading everything that ever was and is and will be, and I saw myself as all the biggest killers and terrorists in the history that we know, but I've seen myself as a baby being killed. I've seen myself as the warrior killing the baby. I literally saw myself playing all the roles that exist and they will all exist. And when I was seeing that, a knot came into my stomach and I literally started purging and vomiting energy and programming and conditioning. It was painful, it was messy, it was ugly, it ripped me apart. I felt like every cell in my body was ripping itself apart, and I was vomiting and crying, and I was vomiting this programming of shame and guilt that I was so conditioned, and so much suppressed pain. And it was a whole afternoon. It was not a blip of a moment. I spent hours vomiting and
Mhm.
purging while that energy was cleaning my body.
Yeah.
And then I got to spend a few weeks in that God frequency once I purged the conditioning and the programming from me. And that was the moment when, again, that oneness was beyond everything. In terms of, I didn't just realize, I felt it was literally nothing outside of right now. There was no, like, literally no energy, no moment outside of the right now moment. I was feeling that, I was embodying it to a level that I've never felt it before. And I saw it clearly. There was literally nothing outside of right now. And that completely has changed my life since forever. The same week, Monica had the experience and then she embodied God. And then she showed me something even more that completely blew me away. She called a friend in front of us, and then out of nowhere that frame became really small, and then he became just a projection on my retina. And God, Monica started telling me that literally there's nothing outside of me. Like everything in front of me was happening in me, was simultaneously a projection, but also in front of me, but simultaneously in me. And it showed me in words beyond language that everything was in me. Around me was just energy. Energy was jumping into my eyes. And inside my heart, I will create an image that appears to be in front of me, like this laptop, the camera, your viewers, in you right now. It showed me that around me, there's no voice, there's no sound. It's just energy penetrating the field here. And inside my field, energy becomes voice, becomes noise, becomes music. Same thing as all our senses. And it showed me this in one afternoon. And again, it completely changed my existence forever. It allowed me to embody a different energy healer, realizing that when I look at you, Eva, means I've also see you in my heart space. When I listen to your voice, I hear you inside of me, which means you see me inside of you, you hear me inside of you. So it's already a powerful energy transmission. This is what I call deepening the quantum entanglement. When we look at each other, we see each other within each other. We hear each other within each other. And with a client's consent, I'm able to shift their nervous system. I'm able to shift the energy within them because I am in them. I am them. There's zero distance, zero separation. And I'm not just talking this out of a book or I've heard it somewhere. I viscerally felt it. I viscerally downloaded it in my consciousness. Source itself awakened and remembered this within me that year.
Okay, so here's what I need to know because this is my curious mind. And I know
Yeah.
anybody watching this, they're gonna be like, but how did he do it? So are you at this point in time, are you utilizing a certain modality, healing modality to do this? Or is this simply something that you're channeling while you're meditating? Or like what is this process that you're going through to experience all this?
Yeah. Absolutely no process, nothing. I'm with Monica in a park, and then
Oh,
out of nowhere, she's embodied by Source, and Source decides to show me, to show us this
okay.
in a way beyond words and language. Like
Mhm.
there was a group of people in front of us, like in different queues to buy drinks and everything. And it showed me how things were moving slow and fast, but again, everything was just within me and a projection of me forward just to have that experience of the present moment. And I'm still distilling the information for 6 years now. And each time I put this into words, somehow it comes out a bit more coherent. But again, words are like sticks in a rock. The actual experience of being embodied by Source or having Source embody the person next to you who simultaneously exists within you and showing me things and explaining me things, and then me having to explain it in words which are dualistic, linear, just doesn't do justice. Language, words can't explain nothing. It's we
So
play with them.
limiting.
We yeah, they are
Yeah.
for me. I see them as a stick and a rock.
Mm.
Like nothing it is what I say it is. Like if in front of me is this, I don't know, shiny Ganesha statue, once I remove all those names, I don't know what this is. If an apple is in front of me, I've been conditioned to call it an apple or a fruit. But when I remove all those words, it's a miracle. I have no idea what that thing is. I have no idea what Eva is. I have no idea what I am. I just know I am here now, having an experience beyond words and language. And yet we express through language because in my reality, in my universe, it seems to be the best way to express stuff. I'm looking forward to download a different language system to transmit to you like I do in my sessions, just from my heart space to transmit healing, integration, upgrading, transmission. But yet, to 2025, in this body, in this consciousness, this dualistic linear language seems my best way of transmitting to you what I experienced. But again, an experience is an experience. Talking about it just takes me farther away from what I've actually experienced. Does that answer your question, Eva?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
So tell me then, tell me what how this has become part of your work, because I know that that it has. So
Yeah.
you tell everyone what you actually do now
Yeah.
with these.
Everything I say to you right now led me to this moment, to that one.
Mm-hmm.
After that powerful awakening and remembering,
Mm-hmm.
in my reality, biodynamic craniosacral therapy appeared out of nowhere. I had no idea what it is. I just resonated with it. I went for an introductory weekend, and it turned out to be this really powerful energy work, deeply somatic, deeply embodying, deeply quantum on so many levels. I just deeply resonated with it.
Who
I spent the
created
next,
biodynamic craniosacral again? I used to know because I learned from the Upledger Institute, which is different,
yeah,
but who created biodynamic again? Do you
I
know?
think like 50 years ago, Ranking
Yeah.
Seals, Jane Jealous,
Yes. Yeah. Right.
they've deepened something within them. They've
Yeah.
reached a deeper level of energy work. They were already this is my perception. They were already
Yeah.
craniosacral therapists. So they
Yeah.
added the biodynamic, the energy part to
Yep.
emphasize that's more energy work than probably craniosacral therapy.
Right. Well, and you know yourself, because I mean, I know even me doing craniosacral somatoemotional release, right, and all those things.
Yeah.
You can't help when you're working with people, even on a structural level. You start to go deeper, even if you didn't
Yeah.
even think that that's what you were initially going to be doing. And I
Yeah.
know for me, that's what started to really open me up intuitively. Like, oh my God, like just off the charts, right? Like it was through my work with that hands-on work with clients, but as
Yeah.
you know and I know, it's way beyond that. It's
Yes.
the energy is first and foremost in all of that work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
biodynamic cranial sacral
Like
therapy came
craniosacral
into your
therapy.
life. Okay.
Yeah, that first year I was receiving sessions, I was offering sessions, I was
Mm-hmm.
downloading everything from Michael Kern, who's
Mm-hmm.
this powerful wizard, coach, teacher, mentor in London, He's part of the lineage of like you, like Ab Ledger, who learned from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the concept of it. And that year, something happened to me. I started downloading this embryological information. I started downloading images, how the embryo is being developed in the womb, how it absorbs energies, how every emotion can go to a bone and hinder its development. The whole year was just me downloading embryological information, gestational trauma, gestational patterns. I had no idea what was going on, but I was downloading them, I was putting them on paper just so I can free my head of them. And then the biodynamic chronocycle course in year two became more gestational. So it was aligning with what I was downloading, and I was downloading even more and more. And that second year, for the first time in my life, in one of the sessions with one of the students there, my first embryological pattern came to the surface. Until at that moment in space, I've been embodied by God, I've been with God, but I've never learned nothing about my gestational life. It came through the biodynamic course. I saw myself in the womb. I felt viscerally and somatically the trauma I absorbed
So
from
were you
body
on the table at
sensation.
this point?
Yes, I
You
was
were on
on
the
the
table.
table. Yeah,
Okay.
my colleague was just holding my head, and the orientation of the session was the connection with the umbilical cord when we are in the mother, in the womb.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought to the surface. So I saw images, I saw emotions, feelings, moments in space that my mother experienced in relationship to my father, to herself, to the system. And of course, I've called my mother after that with compassion and empathy, just asking how was her life when she was pregnant with me. I've never asked that before. And I spent the next few months in those sessions orienting within myself to my embryological life. And things started coming to the surface. And then I will go home, I will have a month to practice with my clients, and instantly my field will attune to embryological patterns. My clairvoyance exploded, my clairsentience, all the clair powers that were inherently within me were coming to the surface. I was finding myself asking these questions about a person, about their mother, about her life, a person who I've never known. I will describe moments in their life, moments when they were in the womb of the mother, and they will have these really powerful energetic processes when my hands were on them, holding the space for them to heal that. And as the year progressed, I started working online. For some other reason, it just felt so natural to me. I would be in front with someone from across the planet, and once they gave me their permission, I could tune in to their nervous system. I could tune in to their embryological patterns. I could feel in my own body my liver vibrating in relationship to their liver who absorbed something when they were in the mother's womb. And I've never had these powers or not being fully aware of them. Again, my clairvoyance, clairsentience just went over the roof. When a session starts, something completely takes over, but now I'm okay allowing that to happen. When a session starts, where my body was going, there you go. When a session starts, there's literally no me there. It's just consciousness working with consciousness, healing itself. I ask questions that they don't exist in me. I reply to the client things that don't exist in me. I'm one with their field, and I'm able to facilitate powerful, energetic healing like I've never imagined my entire life. And now I work with clients, and things have gone even, I've expanded even more. I have clients who have absorbed patterns when they were an egg in the mother's body, when the mother was an embryo and a baby in the grandmother's body. Because
Yes.
when a woman has all her eggs when she's born, so means that me, this body, was in her system when she was in my grandmother's body. So I absorb my grandmother's energy, healing abilities, but also her suppressed traumas.
Yeah.
So of course it becomes intergenerational trauma, transgenerational trauma, ancestral trauma. And I'm able to connect to it through embryological patterns. This is how life manifests itself through me right now. I'm here in front of this camera. I work with hundreds of people from around the planet. I organize once a month an energy healing event where hundreds of people come, thousands of people come. And for somehow life through me holds space for over 1,000 people. And each uniquely is experiencing the healing and integration they are meant to experience that day. There's this powerful energetic transmission that happens through me. I'm not doing it. I'm aware. I'm just being present with my consciousness, and magic and miracles unfold through me. And that's where I am today. That's what I'm doing. These are the clients I'm seeing. I'm blessed to have this beautiful office here. I moved my family from the UK to the island of Tenerife, in this beautiful place called Laurotava Valley, by the volcano, by the ocean. I've
Say that place again. Where?
So the city is called Puerto de la Cruz,
Okay.
but above the city there's a whole valley which is really beautiful, carved by the volcano. It has like a cover here and a cover here, and it's like 6 kilometers. We're covered by mountains, so it's not windy. There's a volcano and the ocean here, and we live at 1,000 meters above sea level
Oh,
because it's
nice.
really abrupt. So I go in my balcony, well, my garden, and it feels like I'm in a balcony in a skyscraper. I see the buildings that small down there by the ocean. It's my version of paradise.
Hmm. Which
So
country
this is
though? I don't know where that is. Puerto La Cruz. Where is
so
that?
the Canary Islands,
Oh, the Canary
yes,
Islands.
the Canary
Oh,
Islands are part of
okay.
Spain, but they
Yes.
are on the west coast of Africa, and they have like an eternal spring. That's the weather that resonates with me right now, so that's why I'm
Ah,
here.
lots of sun.
Yes, actually, our part of the island is a bit more cloudy.
Mm.
The sun is more down by the ocean, but I'm okay with that because even when it's cloudy, I'm still in my shorts, barefoot in my t-shirt, taking
Love
my
it.
baby boy up the mountain.
Beautiful. Now, I just out of curiosity, is it an active volcano or no?
Mm, my instinct says to say no, but when I went there, there are a few cracks where steam comes out
Sure.
from the earth.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure if I think maybe I don't want to call it active.
So you've been there now for how long? A year or two?
No, just less. We moved here in October.
Oh, okay.
We're pretty new in the area,
Hmm.
but it feels like home. It feels alignment.
Hmm.
Instantly arriving here, like of course, university did its magic and it mirrored our self-love, our presence, and we met the right people instantly. We made the right friends straight away. So my current life is how I dreamed it to be. I meet people like Eva. I meet people who have met themselves on such a deeper level of self-love. We met couples who are one, like me and my wife are, to a degree that's beyond words and language. Business opportunities show up instantly. We constantly feel the support of life and existence. Even if our physical reality, for example, 2 months ago, we have two babies, so our money just went away and we didn't have money to pay the rent. But we've learned that life is just full of abundance. And when the day of the rent came, 1,000 people did 1,000 things so we can pay the rent, like a beautiful gift from the universe. Because
Yeah.
we know that in the present moment, there is no such thing as luck, fear, death. The present moment is eternal, is abundant. And as long as we anchor ourselves in our heart space, in the present moment, we only experience abundance.
And when you're in that when you're in that congruence with life, you will always land on your feet, right?
Yes.
And it might come at the very last moment, but you
Yes.
always land on your feet, right?
Yes. That's the beauty because it's the present moment. If I have to pay rent on Sunday, the money is not going to arrive on Friday because it doesn't exist. The
Mhm.
rent is meant to pay it on Sunday, and exactly at that time in space, that moment in space at 3 p.m., the money comes and goes and the rent is paid. So now me and my wife know that the rent is always paid. It's just an illusion that we get to pay it in a linear way. It's always paid. Everything is already taken care of. Fear has disappeared from our system. Both me and my wife have done a lot of inner work, and I'm talking about fear. And now we see that it was never in the present moment. Fear was just a movie in imagination that we end up identifying with. But in
Part
the
of the
present
story.
moment, yes, with the story, in the present moment, this is for everybody listening. So please just
Mhm.
open your ears a bit more. And this is my subjective experience. In the present moment, fear doesn't exist. The nervous system will experience danger if a snake comes in front of me. That's an autopilot response of the autonomic nervous system. It feels danger, the energy of danger, and with full of courage is going to either run away from the snake, which is courage, you're running away for your life to survive. You actually fight the snake, you kick the snake, you freeze so the snake can just pass you by. Or if it's not the snake and it's a human being, you fawn or you communicate. That's the most complex autopilot response. So you open your mouth so the danger can disappear. You say, hello, I'm Laurian. We never met, but I know you're as amazing as me. So fear doesn't exist in the present moment. It's just a projection of 3D programming in imagination. Nobody has ever experienced fear in the present moment. It's
No.
a movie in imagination, like
Yeah.
death, like time, like scarcity, like I am not enough. These are not present moment realities.
Yeah, I've worked with thousands of people over the years, and my husband and I do a treatment we call quantum time travel. And it's at the unconscious level, and it's something we've developed from all of our training over the years and everything. So we've just kind of tweaked things a little bit and found this process that just really works. And but what that's what we found is that, and we say the same thing, that fear does not exist in the here and now. It's always from some moment in the past, right, that we are bringing back into this moment and projecting onto the experience in the present moment. But the fear itself is actually an emotion from the past, and that's why we always go back to the past and work there, right? The past, I get on a quantum level there really is no time, like, I get all that, but again, for frame of reference, right, people need
Yes.
to talk in the past and present and future and what have you. So, yeah. So, but if you can help people to realize that letting go of the emotion of fear is not the same as letting go of your survival instincts, right? The survival instincts will always be there, right? That's a part of our
It's an
biology.
intelligent biological autopilot
Yes.
response
Yes, that's right. That's right. Absolutely.
of the
So
souls.
so I'm really curious. Okay. So this is the work that you do now. So
Yes.
you've actually developed this way that you can work with one to many, basically. So you
Yeah.
working with many people all at the same time. The the sense that I'm getting when you were talking about that is that what's happening is that people are healing themselves, and you are simply, it's like when I'm doing mediumship work with people, it's like I'm just the messenger, like I'm just the channel here,
Yeah.
I'm the bridge,
Yeah.
like I'm not actually telling you anything that you probably don't already know. It's just that it's, or you know what I mean, like I'm just kind of the connection, I feel like,
Yes.
so realistically, at the quantum level, there's no reason that thousands of people couldn't be having a healing experience all at the same time and coming through you, right? And you're trusting, right? There's a lot of trust in what you're doing, isn't there? Like you're
Allowing
trusting,
acceptance,
allowing acceptance,
100%.
and yeah, and just allowing that whatever's coming through is exactly what is supposed to come through, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's beautiful, and I think it's very, very smart of you to be working in that manner, because I know, having done the healing work for almost 25 years now, if you're working one-on-one with people, it's a beautiful experience too. There's no question, right? Like doing that client to therapist work and hands-on and whatever, it's all beautiful. It's just that I don't know about you, but I just kind of feel like we have a lot of work to do on this planet still. And if we're really going to have the impact and reach as many people that need what we have to offer, then we have to be working in this way where we're working with many people at the same time. And I think that's kind of part of the healer's journey, because I see a lot of people that are starting to go, oh, like I don't need to be working just with one person at a time. Like I actually can be doing like what you're saying, where you're being that channel, right? You're being that bridge to people doing the healing work and themselves, but it's coming through you, you know? And so I just think it's beautiful in so many ways, but I know the need is there, right? Especially I find right now on this planet, the need is there for people that are doing work like you are to extend your reach beyond working with one person at a time. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And those years ago when I was downloading information, one of the dreams I was downloading, because it was not my dream, for a whole year I would have the same dream. I'm in this closed stadium, I'm on a stage, 100,000 people are in the stadium filled, and we have this guided energy healing session. And people who maybe during gestation, their spine absorbed an energy and they were born and they were paralyzed with an embryological pattern. People who their eye development was stopped or slowed down in gestation, so they were born with certain eye malfunctions, patterns, energy that don't allow the eye to function properly. With this, my wife has a similar hearing. In gestation, her ear didn't develop properly. So in my dream, people come to this event, and at the end of the event, people who were born paralyzed, once we remove the energy that was, it's not even their energy, it's like a stamp that goes on your organs,
Yes.
on your bones, and once we remove that or we integrate that, the body heals itself 100%. The
Yeah.
body only knows to heal 100%. So in this dream, people who barely could hear suddenly hear because they are part of the field with us. People who had problems seeing since birth, suddenly their eyesight appears magically because we remove the embryological
Yeah.
pattern, the gestational trauma that stopped that organ, that sense from fully developing.
Mhm.
That I keep having this dream and I feel blessed to have it. And I feel blessed that life works like that for me. Because as you said, I'm just here allowing it to happen.
And you know what? Those of us that do this work and that are, well, I personally feel that we are, like you said, we're the wounded healers, right? So you needed to go through all of that pain, right,
Yes.
in the womb, and experience all of that betrayal
Yes.
and rejection and abandonment and all those things, so that you could be able to understand and resonate with those people that
Yes.
you would be working with in the future. Because if you didn't fully experience it, then it's really all just concept, isn't it? It's all just theory, right? Something you
Yes.
learned in a book, right? But
Yes.
when you can be
Yes.
someone to say, I totally, completely understand how you feel, because I
I
was there once too.
resonate.
I
I
that
hear your
res
story, and
exactly.
my inner embryo starts vibrating because it felt the same pain, the same
Yes.
trauma, the
Yeah.
same energy.
Yeah.
I know that
And
now.
now you're on the other side of it. So you
Yes.
can also be that example for
It's
people
possible.
of what's possible. That's right.
Yes, it's possible. I
Yeah.
was born with a biological shattered heart. Now my heart has removed that embryological pattern. I have the heart of a lion. It beats healthy. I go to a medical check. It looks like the healthiest heart that exists in a human body.
Mm,
Because I
yeah.
absorbed all of this, I had the opportunity to heal them within me. So I can hold space for someone with a similar pattern because it resonates with me. There's still an echo, that there's always going to be a residue. When I work with one people or 1,000 people, my body starts playing like a symphony. Like I hold space for over 1,000 people and my jaw vibrates, my heart fills up inch, my liver feels something, my spine does something, and there's an awareness that is not my energy. I'm just allowing the energy transmission through me to connect with these other gods who, for some unknown reason, they chose to absorb those things the same way I chose to absorb all the energies, all the trauma. I knew exactly why I chose those parents. Why Romania? Why a communist regime? Why so many blocks? So I can transmute all that energy and then do the same for other powerful beings or like me 10, 20 years ago.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's beautiful. Well, I do have a couple of questions about now that you have done so much of this work. Number one, um, have other people in your family followed suit with you and done the same deeply profound healing work, or have you found that other family members just have not been able or been willing to go that way? And I'm just curious, like what the comparison is between yourself and your family members,
Yeah. That
if you're
question
comfortable
brings,
talking about it.
yeah, I am
Yeah.
actually, because it brings suppressed sadness I have in
Mm-hmm.
relationship to that. It
Mm-hmm.
always offers me the opportunity to offer myself more self-love, and to my
Mm-hmm.
family members self-compassion and compassion, because they have their own unique journey.
Yeah.
All of them are just deeply ingrained. The last time when I talked to them, just deeply ingrained in their 3D conditioning, deeply ingrained in their trauma. A year ago, I remember calling my brother and just wanted to express with him what I felt, what was present in my body, when our father once just completely abused us, that we felt like we were going to die under his rage. And he couldn't even listen because it resonated in his body, so much suppressed trauma and pain. He just couldn't even sit with it. So I pray to all the energies in the universe that he ends up healing some of that, because
Mm-hmm.
that's not life when you can't be present in the present moment because there's so much energy and suppressed trauma in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents have no idea what I'm doing, even if I explain it to them. And I'm okay with it now. My brothers and sisters don't have any idea what I'm doing because I'm literally speaking a different language. It's like someone from Greece or China will come to me and explain in Chinese their philosophy. I'll just sit
Right.
there and say, yeah, thank you. Um, I
Mm-hmm.
haven't heard the word. It's the same thing with my family. I speak to them, but I can see on their face that nothing is landing. And when something lands, it activates whatever wound they haven't explored yet. And
Triggers them.
and it triggers and they become either uncomfortable or they just can't be with the situation. They haven't met themselves at that deeper level, to answer your
Well,
question.
if you're okay with it, I'd like to share something with you because I've gone through the same thing, okay, with my own family. Um, I'm actually not in relationship with very many people in my family anymore. And I mean, I won't go into my long drug out sad story. But the thing is that I want to talk to you from one healer to another. All right. especially when we have done so much of that shadow work, so much of that healing work. What I have found is that was probably some of um, the hardest things to accept about being a healer, and people that I love not being willing to do the work, is to surrender to the fact that to truly accept. I mean, it's not, we can say, oh, well, I accept it, they're on their own path and whatever. But I mean to like accept it at a deep, deep, deep level where or a high level, however you want to say it, where you truly, truly do not hold any wish that it could be different. That for me personally, and you may find this because we have very similar stories, but that for me personally has been some of the hardest healing to do, is accepting, especially when you know that you hold these gifts, right? You have these abilities to even help them yourself if they would be willing, right? To experience that kind of healing that you have to offer, right? And when they reject it, right? Or
Yes,
can't even, or
deeply.
can't deeply reject it, right? That's one thing we have to deal with. But then to see them continue in their own pain process, right? Knowing that it could be better, that it could be different for them, that's another thing that we have to accept, right?
Yeah.
And the whole rejection piece of you, like, because this is what you may have found has happened, and you tell me if this is true for you, but as we grow and expand and continue this healing and everything, we find that our energy gets so big, right? It gets so expansive, so our light just gets so bright, especially Kevin and I together, and I'm sure you and Monica together as well, that sometimes our energy just gets to be too much for a lot of people, right? To be in the presence of. They don't understand that's what it is. They don't know that's why they feel the way they do, but it's because the resonance isn't there, right? Because we're just on completely different frequencies, right? Um, so I'm just letting you know, because I know you're still a little earlier on in your healing process than I am, even though it's not about time. But I can just tell you from my own experience that some of the hardest things to let go of is knowing that you have these abilities, right? You have these modalities at your fingertips. You have these capabilities, these gifts, right? That you could be offering and sharing with them. And their refusal to do it. That for me personally has been the hardest thing, right? Because we do develop this sort of, and I don't think it's ego. I really don't believe it comes from the ego. I just feel like we have just this deep desire to want to help people,
Yes.
right? And want people to feel good the way that we have learned to feel good, right? And to be free the way that we have felt free. So I do believe it's coming from a good place, but truly, truly, truly letting that go, right? Especially with people that we love, right? People in our with that familial connection, right? I've had to come to that place of just truly, truly accepting that they truly are on a different journey, that maybe their journey, our journeys were only supposed to be for so long, you know? Maybe our relationships were only supposed to be until this point, and then I'm supposed to go this way and they're supposed to go that way. And we somehow believe that because people are our blood family, that there is this obligation to have to be in relationship with them. And what I have found is that that is just not true.
No.
But it's a tough thing to accept, especially
Yes.
when you're that person who went through inside in as that fetus, as that little baby in your mommy's belly. When you went through that, I went through that too, the contemplation of abortion, right? I was born of a 14-year-old, right? So I know that every time they had those fearful thoughts, and every time they had experienced any emotions, you feel it like that little baby inside, you feel it like you're being punched. You're like, every emotion just like punch, 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 stab, stab, stab. um it's painful. Like,
It
it
is.
true
It's
it is.
deeply
It is
painful.
so painful, and it's healable. That's the
Yes.
good news. But it doesn't mean that it's always easy. It doesn't mean that it's
No.
always easy.
No.
So I just want to say this for your benefit and for the benefit of anybody who might be listening. Please allow the space for people in your life that you love and you have the greatest of intentions for when you want to help them. Please allow the space for them to say no, and for them to reject whatever it is you might think that you have to offer them. And sometimes maybe they will come back around, maybe they will. But to truly not be attached to that, to truly let that feeling that of attachment that you hope and wish and pray and just, oh, I hope they get it someday, to truly let that go. Oh my God, there's freedom in that. There is so much freedom in that. There truly, truly is. It's not easy, but there's freedom in that. So I just wanted to offer that because I can tell that you have gone through that, right? I know you're experiencing that. I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's there's no question that it's tough. It's been tough for me too.
Yeah.
So, but when you can go back to the root of that pain, which it sounds to me like with the work that you're doing, that's what's really happening, is you're going back to where that pain first began, inside the womb, or even further back, generationally. Which I
Yeah.
think that for some people that's really hard for them to wrap their minds around, right? That I could possibly be experiencing something that my great 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 grandmother or grandfather experienced. Like, how is that possible? Right? Like, I don't know about that. Or even if you get into the past life thing, right? And I expect that you've had some of that, coming up as well, like past
Yeah.
life experiences and things like that, right?
Yeah. It
So
just comes on autopilot to the
it just
surface.
happens. Yeah.
I've learned to be open to it. In the
Yeah.
beginning, I had a bit of resistance towards it,
Mm-hmm.
but it comes to the surface.
Yeah.
There are clients who connect to three different parallel lives they are living. In a
Mm-hmm.
linear space, it might look like a past life, but when I work with them, I literally see three different movies happening right now, just as parallel energetic dimensions. And she suffers in that one, or she's killed in that parallel life. She sees her body, the bleeding, the aggressor, the abuse, and
Mm-hmm.
she feels it somatically in her body in present moment, and I feel it in my own body, and I'm also receiving the images. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's all here, like all of it, and we connect to it. It comes to the surface in so many ways.
Mm-hmm. Just so beautiful. I just love that
Oh
so
yeah.
much. I love it. And I bet that this has made you a very different parent.
Oh yeah. 100%.
I bet
Yes.
I have the sense that you are actually the parent to your little babies and the
Yes.
husband to your wife that
Yes.
you never got to have in this life anyway. You never got to have in your experience and your upbringing.
Yes. I
Yeah.
definitely didn't saw my parents treat each other like we treat each other. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
completely different dimension of life. I definitely look at my kids in a completely different image that our parents looked at us. For me, my kids are just little Buddhas. They're to teach me and offer me the opportunity to be a student and a teacher to them when the present moment arises that. But they literally live only in the present moment. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I take my boy who's 1 and 4 months, River, up the mountain, and he's in my backpack and I carry him. I'm walking up the mountain, but within me there's an echo of how sweet or bitter my coffee was this morning. Or there's still an echo of something I felt in my 20s, or I suppressed at 15. And there's also an echo of how I'm going to edit a video on Sunday, or how I'm going to perform at an event a month from now. That's playing in my imagination. I detach to it. I'm aware of it. It doesn't have nothing to do with the present moment, but it's still there. My boy, who's 1 and 4, he's in the backpack. He sees the mountain, he sees me, his five senses are in the present moment, and in his imagination, in his heart, he's in the backpack with me walking up the mountain. My kids don't have the concept of this morning or yesterday. They are just literally the energy of the present moment. And
Yeah.
it's such a powerful teacher for me. Because at some point, if I feel like I'm maybe rushing the present moment or rushing my boy, it means I left the present moment. I left my heart space. So I go back and watch the world through his eyes. He deepens my awareness in the present moment. He brings the inner child to the surface, the curiosity, the joy. And I'm like, hey, whoa, where did that came from? Programming, go away, conditioning, go away. I'm here in the present moment. My baby boy is an enlightened Buddha who just, again, exists just in the here and now, full of innocence and joy. I have my echoes and residues of conditioning and programming. So yes, I'm definitely offering a different space. I literally hold space for him to express himself authentically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my best for him to never feel unsafe, to just go crazy with joy and energy, because that's what how trauma shows up with my clients. At any moment in your childhood, if you just didn't feel unsafe to express something, then you've suppressed it, and that inner
Yeah.
child is frozen in time and space in a quantum dimension, in your tissues, in your organs. So I'm learning to hold space for him. It's challenging. I'm going to be completely honest. There are moments when he's just screaming and jumping. He will want to play from the moment he opens his eyes until evening. I'm put in a position to be a father, a husband, a facilitator. So I'm put in a position to do other stuff. He just wants to play morning till evening, so he will push my boundaries. He's also teaching me how to express healthy boundaries, which again, it took me over 30 years to say yes when it's yes and say no when it's no.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel some residues and echoes when I do that,
Yeah.
but I am working on those healthy boundaries with my kids and my wife. And again,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably the biggest dance. That's for me, that's peak existence, peak God creation life. My wife Monica calls it, when we met, she said, God, God, game of duality, me and you, husband and wife, parent and child. And she offered me this powerful lecture when she was embodying God, how God means this illusion of duality. And of course, husband and wife, where we dance these energies that
Mm-hmm.
we drive each other crazy, but
Mhm.
within love.
Well, and
Yeah,
see,
I've
and this
never,
is what I was saying earlier about the whole twin flame thing. It doesn't mean that it's all bliss every moment of the
oh
day,
no,
because your twin
the
flame will
opposite.
challenge you in every way possible. Right,
Oh,
Kevin?
yeah.
My husband's looking
Yes,
at me
Kevin.
going,
Yes. Hi,
mm-hmm.
Kevin. Hi there. Yes. The twin flame brings to the surface all the conditioning, all the programming, all the inner child moments, everything.
Everything.
And there will be moments when my
Yeah.
wife will get full on with her conditioning and
Mm-hmm.
act like that little girl. But luckily, I can hold space now. It doesn't have nothing to do with me. So we
Mm-hmm.
do a bit of a session, we explore,
Mm-hmm.
we go in the body, we heal and integrate.
Yep.
And then in the evening, I might experience that. I'm
Yep.
I'm just tired and I'm not aware, and then a 3D program comes and I might feel guilty or ashamed for some imaginary programming. And she
Yep.
holds space for me and brings me back into the body, back into the present moment. But that works for us because we've done inner work and healing and inner child and shadow work and embryological work and energy
And
work
my
for
guess
10,
would be that
15
you've been
years.
together in past lives too, probably, right?
Oh, the first thing she said to me when we met was, "Finally, you're back. Where were you for the past 20 something years?" That's exactly how it felt, Eva. We
Yeah.
spent that evening telling each other, like, where were you? Like,
Mm.
come on, look, it's been 30 years. What were you
Hmm.
waiting for? I've missed you. And
Because
we just met.
you had to be ready, right? You
Yes.
each had to have your different experiences and get to that place in yourselves where you could come together at that level and in that space and in that relationship and that commitment to continue the process together. That's what I would say anyway. I mean, that would
Yeah.
be my sense of it, right?
Yeah, yeah. And that's what we're doing right now. We're creating a course for 12 weeks for twin flames, for love and self-love,
Mm-hmm.
to present our story, what worked for us,
Mm-hmm.
to help couples who maybe they realize they are the twin flame or they are in that situation, but their own trauma, their own suppressed energies
Yes.
might be too much for them in the present moment. So we
Yeah.
just offer guidance, support, and space,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because sometimes not everybody can hold space for the other one. And they
Right.
will still be together, but it's just going to be a bit more intense towards the toxic side of the spectrum where guidance and support is welcome from
Well,
people who went through similar
I think
things.
understanding when people do come to that place of understanding that that they're on this journey together for a reason, right? And that you don't have to, when things get really really tough, there's two things. You don't have to keep doing it together, and you don't have to give up so quickly, right?
Yes.
Because there's definitely like, and we've worked with lots of couples too where it's like, you know what, you're not really, you two, like I already know like they shouldn't be together, right? And
Oh,
they
yeah.
just keep battling this thing, the playing this drama out, and it's just like, holy shit, you guys, like it's time to like make the break and go,
Yeah.
and then there's other cases where it's like, oh god, like don't give up yet, like don't give up yet,
We
like there's
yeah.
just there's so much still that you two have to learn together and grow together, like don't give up yet, like
Yes.
you know
And we've met them, both the categories you're talking about.
mm-hmm.
It's enough one session to hold space for a couple, and we instantly know it's just a soul contract. They
Yeah.
met just for those two traumas that they mirror within each other, and they're
Mm-hmm.
just meant to go on their own way because their twin flame is literally just around the corner when they let
Mm-hmm.
go of that relationship. We
Yes.
instantly know. I don't have words
Mm-hmm.
how we know, but it's a somatic, visceral experience, and all my quantum abilities just tingle, and we both know they are not one. They are the one for each other now in the present moment for these two
Mm-hmm.
lessons to
Mm-hmm.
heal and integrate, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Just let go because your twin flame is literally literally just around the corner, and you're never going to see it coming.
And
It's
how
miraculous.
beautiful would that be if more people could come to a place of emotional maturity, right? Where they could accept that, you know what, it's okay that we want to break up and move on in different paths. Like, this is okay, right?
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be beautiful? Like, my God, but that's going to
it will
require
be
some,
beautiful.
that's
But
going to require some
there's a lot
personal
of
work.
unhealthy attachments there, the mirroring of trauma, the whole mother-father being
Oh,
reflected.
yeah.
It's comfortable to be in the same toxic, abusive environment. If they've done their inner work and they've healed and integrated that, they would instantly know. Shake
Mm-hmm.
hands,
Yeah.
dude, you're not the one, you're not for me. Thank you for
Thanks
the
for coming
dinner.
out. It's
Yeah,
time to move on.
yeah. But I've seen the whole spectrum, and yeah, it's their journey, it's their unique way. I was exactly the same 10 years ago.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful to hold space for people that went through what I went 10 years ago or 60 years ago in the womb. I know how it feels to be in that dimension and now being in this dimension
Mhm.
where my wife reads a book, Monica literally reads a book. In the same week, I have all the information within me. And we talk on the subjects like I've read the book. I read a book, and then she has all the information, and we discuss that knowledge like she also read the book.
Well,
That's how
that's
our
quantum
relationship
entanglement.
works.
That's
Yeah,
quantum entanglement. Yeah.
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 That's how it feels for us. We're
Hmm.
grateful it's like this. I have no idea how deep it is for other twin flames and couples.
Hmm.
I would say half of our conversations don't have actually happen verbal. They happen fully telepathically, and we joke like, "Hey, just don't go inside there. Ask for consent." Because I will be like, "Oh man, I love a cold beer," and she wakes up and she goes and gives me a cold beer, and I'm like, "I love that you did it, but ask for consent." I know we're one consciousness, but give me autonomy. Let me verbalize it to feel like a husband and a man. Woman, get me a cold beer. But she already gave me the cold beer. That's how our
I,
relationship unfolds.
Totally. I love it. And now I joke with Kevin because Kevin, I find, is just in the last couple of years, this last year in particular, his intuition, he's really allowing his intuition to, take hold, and he's really embodying it, and he's trusting it, I guess. So I just kind of chuckle, and I'll start to say something, and I'll go, but you already know, don't you? And he's like, yeah. So he'll say it to me. He's
Yeah.
like, yes, that's exactly what I was going to say, So I think it's a beautiful thing. I truly do. And
Yes, it is.
I know how happy he would be if I just went out to the kitchen and grabbed him a beer and just brought it to him and he didn't even have to say anything. I do that actually. But yeah, so
Yeah.
it is a beautiful thing. So on that note, you said that you and Monica are creating a course right now.
Yes, for twin flames and couples, some of our friends and other couples have recommended. We've been doing it because I'm fully invested in my personal projects,
Yep.
and we still have two little babies. And
Yep.
someone said, "Look, your story is powerful. You already have the materials. When you're ready and the kids are a bit bigger, I'm confident that a lot of couples would love to receive some of the energy that you guys experienced and the journeys you experienced because they will help them a lot." So we're
Mm-hmm.
looking to create that. And when Monica feels that her role as a mother to infants and toddlers has shifted into something else, we're looking to launch it, yeah. Because we
Okay.
know how much it's going to help even couples who are our friends. Like we have couples who beg us to do this
Mm-hmm.
because they started the inner work, they can see it, but they still have that one, two conditioning program that when it hits, they want a divorce. But they know they are one, and they know they're not going to divorce. And it
Mm-hmm.
just creates this, instead of being that energy of telepathically getting a beer or me getting popcorn for her, they shame each other into divorce for a day. And they know they are the one.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I have to say something. Is popcorn her little go-to?
Yeah,
is that her go-to sort of like for me that's my
yeah,
emotional comfort. I admit
yes,
that like it's popcorn
yeah,
because it's my connection to
yeah.
my mom. Yeah. So I just think that's funny.
Yeah, I have
That's
two missions. Always when I go out to buy stuff, I buy two different popcorn things.
mm-hmm,
And when I finish my work, because I work also one-to-one with a lot of clients from the US,
mm-hmm,
which means I'm in my office, and for us it's going to be like 8, 9 p.m.
mm-hmm,
So I come out from the office. We never eat nothing past 6 p.m. We have like this intentional diet where we eat 1 or 2 meals a day.
mm-hmm,
But I feel her. She has two babies. She's breastfeeding, and I
mm-hmm.
feel her. And I exit. I go straight to the popcorn, make a big bowl, and we just watch a TV show together, or we share how our day went.
And
Popcorn is
she eats the
number
big
one.
bowl. She eats the big
Yeah,
bowl, and you get a little one, right?
yeah. I'm just like there, just a little bit joining. She's like this. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And when I said the whole beer thing, that was at the beginning of our relationship. This year, I finally had the power to completely stop drinking alcohol. So I'm grateful to say, what is this, May? I just
Mm-hmm,
stopped in December after Christmas. So I'll just say 5 months.
mm-hmm.
5 months? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm 5 months just alcohol free off my system. And it just
How's it
feels
feel?
amazing.
Yeah.
It's a different level. I've done it before in the past, but I've
Mm-hmm,
only done it like okay, I'll do it for a few months. Now
mm-hmm.
I know, and I felt it. I'm just going to stop drinking alcohol. It didn't have a limit, a moment in space. I'm just not drinking alcohol because I always felt how my vibration went down, my field shrunk, and I'm too in tune with my body and self-aware of my abilities to see how alcohol doesn't feel coherent with them.
Yeah,
So
you just don't need it anymore,
no,
right?
and
You
I'm
just
not,
don't need it.
and it felt like there was never in my system. I don't have the crave. There's no
Mm-hmm,
image like projecting me, hey, have a beer or a glass of wine, and
mm-hmm,
there's nothing there. And over a decade, alcohol was my go-to addiction. Food and alcohol to numb the pain and the trauma on
mm,
autopilot over and over again. And
right.
now it doesn't feel like it ever existed in my system.
Wow, that's great. Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you.
So I am
Thank you.
curious though, what about the shrooms? Are you still utilizing psilocybin periodically? Or are you microdosing? Like how are you using them now, if at all?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We haven't had both me and my wife are fans of shrooms. Of course, she's
Mm-hmm,
my divine mirror. So
mm-hmm,
we hadn't had any psychedelics since her first pregnancy. So it's
mm-hmm,
been 3 years now.
mm-hmm,
I would love at some point in space and existence to organize a retreat here on the island. I would love to integrate it in my just 10% of my line of business
mm-hmm,
because I respect a lot shrooms and ayahuasca and plant medicine. So I would love to explore that to hold proper professional trauma specialist space with
mm-hmm,
plant medicine involved at some point in my existence because it
mm-hmm.
did change my life and I want
Sure.
to honor that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dr. Gabor Mate is a huge fan, isn't he? And you know,
Yes, he
he
is.
he
I'm happy for him that he finally discovered it. I'm a big fan
mm-hmm,
of his because he's an amazing trauma specialist. But
mm-hmm,
I remember him talking. These are his words. He wrote an entire book about addiction and trauma and dysregulation. And for some unknown reason, his consciousness never heard about ayahuasca, although he
mm-hmm.
did a lot of research on trauma, on people getting rid of drugs and
It's their
alcohol.
filters though. Their
Yeah,
filters don't allow that information in. Isn't it interesting?
exact. That's why I said he's so curious because he's a genius. He's an
Yep.
amazing person, but yet he didn't align. with something that for us came in different ways. And then he shared his first experience of ayahuasca, and he just discovered his authentic self. He said, for the first time in my life, I felt pure love, pure self-love.
Yeah.
And it was just beautiful to hear that voice saying, I had an ayahuasca experience and I felt pure love. And from a place of self-love, you're accessing infinite possibility in the present moment, and all the choices becomes 100% yours. So if you don't want to drink, you're not going to drink. If you want to stop something and you're complete in the present moment in the field of self-love, you're accessing infinite possibilities, and you can choose whatever you want to change your reality completely. That's my perception of the
Absolutely.
experience.
And let's face it, I mean, we both know this, but they're on this planet for a reason. They have a purpose
Clear,
too, right?
clearly, I mean, they grow from the ground. They are consciousness in a form of a plant that helps consciousness discover itself. And they've been
Makes
used
sense to me.
for 100,000 million years. This is the
Hmm.
medicine.
Hmm.
This is the medicine. Energy work and powerful plants of nature for consciousness to recognize itself and to wake up.
Hmm.
Our current medicine that we call Western or modern, whatever the word is only 200, 300 years old. It's literally a baby with a stick. Like medicine doesn't even come into
It's
this
not it's
dimension.
not even medicine. I say
Yeah,
that it's for sickness. It's to
yes,
manage sickness,
yes. Give me a
and
word for it. It doesn't even do nothing.
yeah.
It's a completely dimension of life. It has its
Mhm.
space
Yeah.
for people in
Em-
that dimension.
yes. Yep.
In this
And for
dimension,
emergency, perhaps for emergencies, like I think I'm like you. I don't want to say all bad stuff about the medical system because there are times, right?
you
There
have
are
a car
times.
accident, they come and take you to the
Yep.
hospital, and things happen and they save lives. And it's an
Yep.
amazing dimension.
Yep.
But those are surgeons, they do stuff. But I'm
Hmm.
talking about the pills, the medicine, they do exactly the opposite of medicine. They suppress, they stop
Hmm.
people from feeling, from awakening, from remembering, and that's
Hmm.
okay. For me, that's consciousness. Consciousness wants to play that game. I'm
Hmm.
going to allow it. I'm going to hold space for consciousness for 6 billion, for 9 billion people to experience that dimension.
Hmm.
If you resonate and you want to come in a different dimension, you're welcome. My door is open.
Hmm.
I've been like you, and I have the tools to offer something completely different on an actual quantum level that you will feel viscerally in your body being released, and your body is going to heal itself because the body heals itself 100%.
It's meant to when it doesn't have all these blocks and
Yes,
all these like poisons being thrown at it, and
yes.
you know.
If I take a knife and I cut my skin here, in 1 week we will meet here in front of the camera, and I'm going to have complete new skin that works like the old skin, like all the sensors are there, or the feeling is there. If I fall with my bike and this bone, my ulna and my radius fracture, I put it in a cast, but doesn't do nothing, and then the bone heals itself 100%. The body heals itself 100% always. And this is where we come. If there's an emotion, an energy trauma related to the bike accident, maybe that morning my mom died and I was
Hmm.
filled with grief, and I
Hmm.
felt, and that grief just stayed on that bone. Then 10 years later, you come to me with a physical bone that doesn't feel healthy and natural. And once we remove the grief, or the inner child, or the shadow, or the embryological pattern, and we allow the hand, it quantum jumps in a healthy body, and then you have a
Yeah.
healthy arm. Or at least
Hmm.
that's what I experience in my sessions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally hear you. And and then there's also those times too, and I'm sure you've experienced this as well, where you recognize that there is an emotion that is trapped in someone's tissues, right? And it is potentially, well, you probably pick up if it's contributing to their illness, like be it cancer or whatever it might be. And sometimes they're just not willing to go there. They're just not willing to go there. And that, again, that was hard for me as someone in my clinical work to just accept that, even though, I brought it to their awareness, and even though I gave them an opportunity to let that emotion go that was causing that uterine cancer, right? If they're not willing to go there, you have to surrender to that, and you have to accept that this is their journey, right? It's not easy, but it's what we have to do. And that's part of our role as healers too, is knowing when not to, right?
Thank you for saying that. It's
Yeah.
not easy. It's painful. I feel uncomfortable. I feel attached. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I have the tools and the person saying no. And although I'm preparing myself for it, I'm in acceptance, I'm in detachment, I'm in self-awareness, it's still painful. But I kind of love myself saying that they came to me and maybe they experienced 10% with me.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
Yeah.
next year they find you, Eva,
Mm-hmm.
and they experience another 10%. And 20% of that energy is being removed from there, and it adds to their healing journey. And maybe a year later, they meet Gabor Mate, or they go to a summit, or they
Mm-hmm.
go to a healing session. And out of nowhere, they go to a one energy healing session, and for them, it feels like it disappeared completely. That they don't
Mm-hmm.
see the session with
The
me, they
build
don't
up.
feel, yes, they don't see the
Yeah.
session with you, because in
Mm-hmm.
their imagination, nothing happened, or they don't want to accept it. And then they meet another energy healer, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the present moment shows for them. And in one session, they are completely free,
Yep.
like a miracle.
Yep.
And it happens always, like always.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm learning to put that kind of projection or energy, because I had this week someone exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Well,
was
I would
painful.
say that what that client was showing you then is what you still need to work on in yourself, right? Because that's the
Yes.
way I see it. Like when I look back on it now, I go, well, that's okay, because that was my process to let go of that which I was holding on to, believing that I had to fix that person, believing that I have to heal them, I have to help them, I have to help. Like, why aren't they listening to me? Right? Why
Yes.
aren't they listening to me? Right? So that's our own
Yes.
shit.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I'm still working that. I feel it in my body. That's my attachment. That's my energy.
Sure.
And I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have a wife who I go from the session and she lands the right question. And then I
Yeah.
go inward and I
Mm-hmm.
look at it. I invite it to the table. I have a few processes for that.
That's good.
And that's the beauty. They come there, they receive the 10% energy transmission, and I see where I'm not free. I've
Mm-hmm.
learned to look at them as I'm a beneficiary of my triggers, of my echoes, of my residues, and I
Mm-hmm.
see where I'm not free. There's
Mm-hmm.
always something for me to learn in
Mm-hmm.
all experiences.
Yeah, everyone comes to our in our lives for a reason, and most often they are that mirror, right?
Yeah.
So it's, as long as we can see it that way, right? Then we can see the gift in it, the blessing in it, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so I know you and I could keep talking, and we're going to have a second part to this, actually, if
Yes,
you're okay
please.
with
Yes,
that.
please. Because this was just like an introduction.
Just a
Like just
scratching the
this is the
surface.
foundation of exactly on the surface. Like this is how it feels. This is the foundation of what's actually exploding.
Yes, absolutely. So I do want you to let everyone know, though, what when you do your group sessions online, because you do them how, like, once a month or something like that, or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Once a month
Okay.
on a Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, do you do that on your Facebook page, or do you do it on your website? Like, where do you do that?
Both. On my
Okay.
Facebook page, there's a link that sends you to the landing page of the
Okay.
website.
Okay.
But my Facebook page is built like a other landing page. So people can easily land on my Facebook page and see live energy healing event,
Okay.
book here, come that Saturday.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit, let's explore, let's
Hmm.
heal, and then have a space for integration and see
Hmm.
how that feels. And I would say that 9 out of 10 people who come to the live energy healing event, then they sign up to a membership, which is
Sure.
only 96 euros, and you get 2 sessions a month. And the live energy healing event is 69 euros.
Okay. Okay.
And
So that is, don't you have one coming up really soon?
yes,
Live energy healing. Am I
yes,
correct? Yeah.
yes, it's going to be now in this June, in 2 weeks'
In
time.
June. 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So what we'll do is we'll put everything once I post this, we'll put all that information in
yeah,
with the video, okay? So that everyone
yeah,
knows where to find you.
yes,
Yeah, because there's you have so much value to offer. I can feel that, and I feel the love that you are projecting out. It's just like it's very palpable, even all the way over here in Canada. um, and I think that you have you have big things to accomplish. You really, really do. And there is no room in your life for playing small anymore.
yeah, yeah. I'm being hit with that information this year,
Yes.
massively.
Yep.
Thank you for saying that. My
Yep.
social media has exploded. I have over a million views daily. I just
Mm-hmm.
reached over 10 million views. So that dream I was receiving and downloading a few years back,
Mm-hmm.
it's becoming a manifested reality.
Absolutely.
And you want to hear something really crazy and funny? There's something about the people who are born and raised in Canada or have some kind of connection. Because I'm going to be completely honest, this week I saw maybe 12 people for one-to-one work. 10 of them are from Canada or Canadian. And here I'm talking again with you. I have this powerful resonance with the soul, with the consciousness of that part of the planet, with your energy, with your I'm still discovering what it is, but I stop
Well,
believing in coincidences. I literally saw today, like this week, again, 10 out of 12 people are people from Canada.
okay,
Or now
well,
they live just across the border, or they've moved from Canada
sure.
to the Dominican Republic or something like that. But there's something there.
Well, let me tell you, I don't know how much you know about what's going on in Canada, but I'll be very honest with you, okay?
Please do.
You're from a Soviet, um you're from a country that experienced communism, okay? And during its darkest times, really, like some of
Yeah.
its darkest times. And I know it might seem crazy to say this, but Canada is going through a very dark time right now, actually. And we are moving closer and closer and closer to communism.
Wow.
And yeah, we are. I know there will be a lot of people, maybe if they watch this, they'll go, no, that's not true. I'm like, but yes, it is. And we see it more and more every day. We feel it more and more every day. And so when you say that about people that are connecting with you, and a lot of them are from Canada, I would say that they might not even be aware of it, and maybe they are. But
Yeah.
there is a collective consciousness for sure, that is occurring in with people on this side of the world right now, that is a lot of feeling of helplessness, overwhelm, people who are feeling unheard, feeling like they are not allowed to express themselves. And I mean, I'm talking at more of a, like, personally, a lot of us have this shit going on, right? Let's face it. But it collectively, it's also happening. So like I said, maybe they aren't even aware of it, but there's really a lot of darkness happening in Canada right now, and has been for a little while. And people are energetically, you can feel it. You can really feel it. So just so you know, okay,
Yeah. Well,
just so
thank
you
you for
know.
saying that, Eva.
Yeah,
Thank you for saying
yeah.
that. You brought so much light because I didn't receive any information why, for some unknown reasons, more than half of my clients are
Mm,
from Canada. And here I am
mm,
conceived under powerful communist regime, and I have this powerful resonance. And
yes.
thank you for bringing light to that.
Well, I mean, I think that because, well, I know because you had that experience in your own upbringing, that you're bringing that groundedness with you of that experience, right? So, just be aware.
Yeah.
Just just
Yeah.
just be aware. Just pay attention. Pay attention. And yeah, see what happens, right? See what happens. But there's no question, regardless of where anybody's from, humanity is at a place now that they are seeking what we have been doing for a long time. And it's becoming more and more and more accepted. It's becoming more sought after. People are becoming more and more aware. I find, do you find this too, that people are becoming more
Yeah.
aware? They're starting to really be more open as well. And I mean, let's face it, a lot of it comes with suffering. It comes from suffering because they just finally, will get to a place where they're like, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. Like, this is it. Like, it's unfortunate that as humans we tend to do that, but still, at least there's people like you, right, who are there, right, to be able to be that light for people who feel they are stuck in that darkness, and they need to be shown the way, right? They need to be shown the way. And so this is our time, buddy.
Yes.
This is our
This
time.
is our moment.
This is
Yeah.
our moment. This is what we came here for. That's my sense of it
Yes.
anyway. I feel like this is what we
Yeah.
came here for. And everything we've been going through and everything we've experienced and all the pain and heartache and, all the failures or whatever you want to call it. I don't care. But the thing is that everything has been preparing us.
Yes.
It's
It
all been
feels like it.
preparing us. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's our time. It's our time because it's humanity's time to rise.
Yes.
So
And thank you for saying that. As you said that, we've been into the dark tunnel. We
yeah,
know how it feels under that fog, where it
yeah.
feels like this is going to be like this forever. Like I'm
Mhm.
never going to heal or integrate, or the world is going to be like this forever. And
Mhm.
somehow here we are, we've exited the tunnel.
Yeah.
And wow, now when you look back, phew, wow, what a ride. When I was there, I thought that's going to be my eternity. But
Yeah.
we're an example that out of nowhere you exit that tunnel and you land in your body, you land in your present moment,
Yep.
into your I am consciousness, and from there, infinite possibilities unfold.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to say it again. This is part 1. Okay.
Yes.
We're definitely going to be doing another part, maybe even a third. You never know. But
Yeah,
either
thank you for
way,
saying that. I've heard a number three. When you said part
3.
one, I've heard you part two, part three already, like coming out of your mouth
I already had
before.
it
God.
planned. I already had it planned. I already told Kevin, my husband, I already said, oh yeah, we're going to be doing a Q&A session live online. And like, I've already got it all figured out.
By the way, congratulations on this powerful project.
Thank
I know the work behind the scene.
you.
So
It's a
just
lot.
congratulations for you to be in that chair right now. And that's it, because I know what's behind the scene. I'm in it right now. I've been there for
Thank you.
years. So I see you. I know the energy that you've put into this. So thank you for holding space for this.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
from the bottom of my heart. Seriously, thank you so much. And okay, so I'm going to let you get on with your evening because I think it's probably evening for you now, isn't it? Yeah.
I would love to bring you something.
Okay.
Let me see which one of the two babies is available.
Oh,
Let me
yes.
see. Be
I
right
love
back.
babies. I love babies.
So here is the youngest.
My goodness. Name?
So this is Forrest. Forrest Gabriel. He's 4 months.
He's so
I'm really
bright.
happy. Yes, I'm so happy I brought him because I would love in episode 2 to share you some of the stories of baby number 1 and baby number 2 because our number 1 River said to us that he has chosen us as parents in January, and Monica experienced biological conception and pregnancy all the way in April. So I have a really powerful story behind that
Oh, yes. We totally have to talk about that. Absolutely.
because it ties
Oh,
in with how we choose our parents and timelines and everything. So
yes.
yes,
Yes, we
so this
definitely
is
need to go deep on
yes,
that for sure.
yes. So this is Forrest
Oh,
Gabriel, powerful baby boy,
yeah.
born here on the island of Tenerife. He
Oh,
has beautiful dimples when he smiles. He looks a lot like me when I look at the pictures of me as a baby. So this is how I looked as a baby in the 80s
oh,
in Romania. Oh,
oh, that's beautiful. And you know what? He totally recognizes the work that you've done to break that cycle of generational pain because they're
yes.
not that he doesn't have to carry that now.
Yes. Being here now with him, I've connected with a story that my mother was telling me. So my first year, when I
Mm.
was 8 months, and the first winter came in Romania, just to paint you a picture how life was for me at 8 months and for my family, there was zero heat in Romania that winter, and it
Oh,
was freezing with minus. And my mom said they spent the whole winter making like an igloo out of clothes and doing like to warm up the space in the igloo of clothes to keep
oh
me
my
warm
God.
so I don't die.
Holy crap.
This
Wow.
just came to the surface and I
Well, that is
just wanted
okay.
to
So
paint a
we
picture
definitely,
of that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's completely opposite, right? What you're
Yes.
providing at this
And
point
he's
is
here on the
yeah,
island of Tenerife, eternal spring,
yeah.
ready to surf, to hike volcanoes, and to just
Wow.
fully express himself as consciousness, no
Aw,
projections from his
aw.
parents, to the best of
That's
our capabilities.
of course, of course. I think that is just so beautiful. I know that I broke the cycle in my own family too. I did. Um, Probably didn't do it soon enough. Like I know my kids certainly took on some, but we worked through everything, right? Because of the tools that Kevin and I
Oh,
have. I
beautiful.
mean, we were able to work through a lot of these things together, and we unschooled our kids in
Oh,
their later years of school. We took them right out and we traveled with them, and so
yes, yes,
yeah,
that's the plan.
do it, do it. It's so worth
Yes,
it. It's so
yes.
worth it. Oh my goodness, it's so worth it. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. I just want to keep talking.
Isn't it beautiful when consciousness meets consciousness and you hold each other's space for each other and you feel like you can talk for eternity? This is the
Yes.
life that we all deserve. Meeting
It,
people who can listen, who can see you, who can hold space for you, and you can
yes.
share with authenticity your life with love and compassion. And it feels like you can talk forever and ever and
Yeah.
ever and ever.
And
And I'm
there's
so
no effort.
grateful for you.
There's no
Yes.
effort. There's no pretense, there's no trying. It just is. And I just want to take my hands, I just want to squeeze those little cheeks right there. Oh my God. Just want
Thank
to
you,
squeeze those little
Eva.
cheeks. Oh my
Thank
God.
you,
He's
Eva.
so
Thank
cute.
you.
Oh my God.
And one last story before I go. Now,
Yeah.
when I went to take the boys, my wife Monica was reading a book to our baby boy River. And funny enough, when she was pregnant with him, she designed the book on Amazon, Adventures with River, and she just keeps reading that to him over and over again. It's a journey about him growing up, Adventures with River, and she was reading now that to him, and he was so in love with her voice. Like
I bet.
for a moment, I didn't want it to come back here. My wife reading to my baby boy just felt like stepping into a dimension of paradise. Like I just wanted to stay in that glow of theirs.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So did she actually put the book up online for people to buy?
Yeah, yeah. If it's okay with
Okay.
you,
Yeah, send the link to me.
we can put a link in
Yeah,
the.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
really beautiful done, and it's in English, and it's the story
Aw.
of a boy growing up, learning that his thoughts and emotions create his reality.
Oh, we need that kind of educational
Yes,
materials
right.
for young people.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They gently
Oh,
start from the beginning, saying that everything that
absolutely.
you are creates everything that it is.
Good for her. Yes, please send me
Yes,
that link. Send me everything. We will
will
absolutely
do.
share it. Absolutely. Oh,
Um,
Forest. Forest with one R or two.
2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for asking because until he was our baby boy, I had no idea there's a difference. So then
Mm-hmm.
I did some research and I saw what was the difference between 1 and 2.
Yes.
And in my universe, I was reading a text that said that forest, when it's with two, is the guardian of the forest, like the one who's in charge
Oh,
of nurturing the forest that he's in. And that's how the name
interesting.
was born in Native American. I found this really beautiful thing online and I deeply resonated with it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Okay. So
Eva,
we're gonna have
yes,
to go, but anyway, I'll stop record now. Okay.
yes.
So I'll stop record.
Thank you for watching, everybody. We love you and we thank you for listening and being here.
Absolutely.